Conclude on Monday with Canada making a trip south to the Dominican Republic, and tonight's visitors, the Bahamas, will host their first ever World Cup qualification game in Nassau against the Virgin Islands. So big games across the weekend for all four teams, and no doubt they'll all be determined to leave on winning notes from the first window of this qualification phase. It's a 12-game qualification phase, and all players will have their eyes locked on the World Cup final on the 15th of September in Beijing. And it's a new looking World Cup for this 18th iteration. All qualification processes changed, with no automatic qualifications, with the obvious exception of China, who qualify as the host country. The qualification for the finals is split between the four geographic regions: Africa, Americas, Asia and Europe. Each region will host a similar styled qualification process, with the Americas providing 7 of the 32 teams for the World Cup finals in China in 2019. So we start this process with 80 countries, all fighting it out for those 31 spots at the finals in China. It's going to give us hundreds of hours of amazing basketball action across the globe. Strap yourself in for game one here in the Americas Group D, as Canada go up against the Bahamas. Plenty of fans here in the Scotiabank Centre for this opening game of Canada's qualification, including several people repping the Bahamas in the crowd as well. It'll be interesting to see how this goes. Obviously Canada enter the game as favourites, but the Bahamas have real spirit about them. Just waiting for player introductions to begin now in the arena. And the Bahamas enter their first ever World Cup qualification campaign tonight, and you really do have to love the spirit they've approached the challenge with. During a recent press conference, the coaching staff made it very clear they're not just happy with qualification for the World Cup, they want to make it all the way to 2020 Olympics in Tokyo. Now that's a big ask for the Bahamas, but they are setting their sights high and they are determined to make waves. They may not have the history of other nations or necessarily the quality on paper of other rosters, but the passion and pride they will take to the court is unlikely to be surpassed by any other nation. However, the question will always be, how far can that passion and pride take them? So they're just shortly to be introduced to the crowd here at the Scotiabank Centre. And on their way out, they'll high-five some young fans. And this is what this international basketball restructuring is all about. It's about bringing international basketball to local fans, seeing your home team playing on your home soil more often. This really could take international basketball to the next level.
Welcome, shooting forward, number 3,
and inspire the next generation to become future superstars. Big moments for all these Bahama players coming out onto the floor now here at the Scotiabank Centre. The nerves will be starting to kick in as they know this is game one of what they hope is 12 games in a successful qualification process on the way to their first ever appearance at the World Cup finals, which will be in China in September 2019. The odds may be stacked against them, but listening to Coach Bollet, that will mean nothing to these guys. They are here to compete at the highest level. And for them, qualification is an absolute necessity. It's no longer just a dream. It's what they've come here to achieve, and that's what they've set their stall out for.
Power forward number 14, Torrington Cox.
Now there's plenty of action going on throughout the World Cup qualification phase. And if you want to stay up to date with it all, make sure you download the FIBA World Cup app. It's available on both Android and Apple, and it's the place where you'll get all the latest news, videos, results and stats. So make sure you download it today to stay ahead of the game. And that's the Bahaman coaching squad being introduced to the crowd also, and high-fiving the young local fans as they do. We're just awaiting the introduction of the home team, Canada. As we see the introduction video now being played out to the arena, getting the crowd hyped. Good crowd here for this Friday night game, and no doubt they'll make their feelings known throughout the game as they support Canada in the first game of the World Cup qualification. Canada have clear expectations, and the fans in the arena have the same expectations. They're not just here to qualify, they really are here to send out a message to the rest of the basketball world that they are contenders potentially for a podium finish in 2019. They're ranked 25th in the world, 8th in the Americas zone. They've made 13 appearances at the World Cup finals, but are yet to claim a medal. A big ask, but can Canada strike it lucky in China at the 14th attempt? Now, this is the first ever competitive meeting between these two teams on the basketball floor. Canada enter as clear favourites with a roster full of good experience, but how will they gel? And can they get the job done tonight? Well, we'll soon find out. We're now just minutes away from the opening tip. And as you can see, the Canadian mascot is up for the challenge tonight, looking to get the crowd pumped. He's already been up to plenty of antics in the stands. And if his strut's anything to go by, Canada in confident mood. A big moment for all the Canadian players being introduced to the crowd. Plenty of experienced veterans within the Canadian roster, both domestically as well as on the international stage. However, they've also got 3 players picking up their first ever competitive international cap, so it's a big moment for them. Kaza Keen, the young explosive guard, as well as Mark Tressolini and Owen Klassen, all making their competitive debuts this evening at the Scotiabank Centre. So big moments for them in their career, as well as no doubt their family and friends, who I'm sure will be in the stands cheering them on. And there's real excitement around global basketball with this new look qualification process for the World Cup, enabling young and old fans alike to watch their national team play on home soil more often and more regularly. It can only be a good thing for spreading the love of international basketball. Coaching staff for Canada now being introduced, and no doubt Coach Rana will be keen to get off to a winning start. Moments away now from the opening tips. However, before that, we'll have both national anthems. Firstly, the national anthem for the Bahamas.
Please remain standing for the playing of the Canadian National Anthem. Joining us tonight to perform O Canada, please welcome the 36th Canadian Brigade Group Band.
Rousing renditions of both national anthem there, and beautifully respected within the arena, and really does set the scene for what's likely to be an exciting game here this evening between the Bahamas and their hosts Canada, as the coaching staff and players exchange gifts. We are just moments away now from the opening tip-off at the Scotiabank Centre. So window one is close to start here in the Americas, but let's have a look at tonight's officials. We've got Roberto Vasquez, Sebastian Negron, Yesed Diaz from Puerto Rico, Chile and Puerto Rico respectively. As I said, we're just moments away from the start of the action here in Group D of the Americas World Cup qualification. And let's have a look at the Bahamas roster. Fairly inexperienced roster. They'll also be missing DeAndre Ayton, who played a pivotal role in their Centro Basket 2016 campaign. Expectation is David Nesbitt will step up and provide a considerable amount of their offense. But one thing's for sure, that entire roster, every single one of them will enter the court with a passion and motivation to represent the Bahamas to the best of their abilities. Having a look at their starting fives for the Bahamas, they'll start with Abel Joseph, Lyndon Rose Jr., Michael Carey, Shaquille Clare and Jaron Burrows. A strong starting five, and the coaching staff made it clear they intend to be the best defense in the world, and they also intend to play a very high tempo game, getting up and down the floor as quick as they possibly can. Let's see how that affects the Canadian roster. There's some serious talent throughout the Canadian roster, but it's interesting to see how they gel as a unit. Joel Anthony is currently a free agent, so might not be able to gain pace, but for me the one to watch is Xavier Atta-Mays. Such an exciting prospect, has potential to fill up the stat sheets. So let's have a look at who the Canadians are going to put onto their starting five, but no doubt they rely on a lot of their full 12 roster. So you've got Philip Scrubb, Xavier Attan, Brady Heslip, Anthony Bennett and Joel Anthony. That's an impressive starting five that they're putting onto the floor to get things going, and the Bahamas will be keen to make sure that they keep this competitive throughout the 40 minutes. If the form book's anything to go by, Canada will be looking to secure a big win here this evening, but we've seen it already in the World Cup qualifications. The Minnows are here to make upsets, and no doubt the Bahamas will be keen to create an upset of their own. Coaching staff just final preparations of their rosters before they take to the hardwood for the 40 minutes of action. And Coach Bole has made it clear they're not just here to make up the numbers. He set his stall out. They want to play that high tempo style, and he'll be hoping that that is enough to upset the Canadians this evening here in Halifax. We'll have to wait and see how that one plays out. That's a team that's come together. They're gelled. They're ready to play for their country, which is one of the most beautiful things to see within professional sports. Players playing for the pride of their nation, and the Bahamas are absolutely doing that. There's no doubt his Canadian counterpart, Coach Rana, will know that the expectation is Canada will make it through to the second phase of qualification with ease. However, his main job therefore is going to be not to allow complacency to creep into his team. Although they may be favourites for this group, there's plenty of banana skins between them and passage through to the second qualification phase, let alone qualification for the World Cup finals. And Coach Rana will be setting his sights on making sure that his team remain focused throughout. Plenty of action here at the World Cup qualifiers. And remember, try and share some of that love. Get on your social media, share the best moments of the qualifiers. Make sure you tag it with hashtag #ThisIsMyHouse. Let's get that trending across the world, across social media. Let's show how much love there is out there for international basketball this evening. And the noise levels rise here in the arena as the Canadian crowd get behind their team. And Anthony, captain of the Canadian team, will go up for the tip against Clare, and he wins it, knocks it back to Bennett. Bennett now with the ball to Heslip. Ball comes to the top to Rattan Mays. Looks to find some space inside, hesitation, floats in right hand, beautiful opening to Rattan Mays. He's come to play, that's for sure, gets a 2 to start the game, settled some Canadian nerves. Burrows now, captain of Canada, gives it up to Carey, back to Burrows, hands it off to Rose Jr. Rose now, little hesitation, comes back out. That's a tough move inside. Foul is called on Heslip as Carey drives strong to the basket. Confident start by the Bahamas. Looks to drive past Heslip. Heslip caught a little bit on the back foot there, and Carey Jr. will go to the line for 2 shots. Too heavy on the first. Carey plies his trade in the second tier of French basketball for Étoile Charleville-Mézières. 24-year-old has had a good season so far, averaging 11 points per game for them. And he connects for the Bahamas' first ever point in World Cup qualification. Rattan Mays now with the ball to Heslip. Almost stolen away, Heslip being harangued. Back to Rattan Mays for 3. Comes up short on that one. Gets it back inside to Rattan Mays. Comes to the top, Heslip wide open for 3. Nothing on that one. It's knocked away by, looks like it's come off the hand of the Bahamas player. It will still be a Canadian ball. And Scrub will look to inbound. Into Rattan Mays, drives to the basket, goes to the corner, wide open, in and out for Bennett. Into the hands of Rose, Rose feeds it inside, it's almost lost though, is it? Scrap under the basket, and the loose ball comes away into the hands of Bain. Good ball movement, Heslip, quick release in the corner, drains the 3. Beautiful shooting form from Brady Heslip in the corner. Burrows now gives it to Joseph. He goes down into the low post to Clare. Clare using his strength, goes up for the right hand hook. It's a tough move, comes up a little bit short, and Bennett grabs the rebound. Heslip now to Bennett. Bennett, little spin move, steps back, looks to use the glass, a little bit heavy on that one. But Canada will recycle the ball into the hands of Scrub. Back to Bennett, to Heslip. Heslip from way out. Oh, drains another 3. Heslip with back-to-back triples. He's feeling it early. And Canada already out to a 7-point lead. Rose now to Carey. To Clare, back to Rose. Oh, nice ball movement by the Bahamas. Carey finishes it off with the easy 2 off the glass. Great patient team offense. Rattan Mays. Oh, beautiful little hesitation. Kicks it to Scrub. Scrub for another 3. 9 of the first 11 Canadian points have come from outside. The Bahamas are going to have to chase the perimeter down. The Canadians have come to score. Carey now. Rose. Rose on the exterior, waiting for the screen set by Clare. Bit of pick and roll action. That's a tough shot. Oh, gets it to go though. Burrows drops the mid-range 2. Rattan Mays steps back for the long 2. Nothing but the bottom of the net for Rattan Mays. Free-flowing basketball so far here for the Canadians. 13 points in the opening 4.5 minutes. Sorry, 3.5 minutes. Burrows now with the ball. To Rose. Rose on the wing, using the screen set by Clare. Looking for some options. Uses Clare's roll, and Clare gets a little soft touch around the rim. Gets the 2 to go. Both teams finding the basket. Reasonably easy in the opening going. And Burrows steps across and fouls. An absolutely clear foul, but Burrows doesn't seem to agree with the officials. It's a good call though. It'll be the first team foul for the Bahamas. And Bahamas call a timeout. Coach Bole wants to talk it over with his 5. And literally just talking it over with his 5, not calling the rest of the team in, so just wants to try and stop some of the perimeter.
Relax and play D the way you're capable of playing defense, okay?
You can't let them be comfortable at home, bro. What can make scraps? Number 12, no one ever number 9.
As you can hear, a lot of passion within that timeout. We apologise for any foul language that you may have heard, but a lot at stake for the Bahamas in their first ever World Cup qualifier. No doubt the Canadian huddle will be just saying more of the same, please. They want to tighten up the defensive end. They've given up some interior baskets reasonably easy, so they'll want to shut the door on the easy lane access that the Bahamas have had so far. But outside of that, they'll be happy with the options they're getting on the offensive end. They're getting some wide open looks from outside. And it'll be down to the Bahamas to stop that. It's going to be a sideline ball, and Scrub will inbound it for Canada. Puts it into Latam Mays. Just, I think, a complication with the clocks. Yeah, according to the clock, we've actually run out of time in the first quarter. And unless I fell asleep mid-commentary, I think that might be an incorrect clock at the moment. So we're just waiting for that to be reset before we can get started up again after the timeout here at the Scotiabank Centre in Halifax, Canada. It's been an amazing 48 hours of international basketball, dozens of games going on, and will do across the weekend as 80 teams look to compete to qualify for the World Cup finals. Oh, strong move, rolls to the basket, can't get it to go though. Bennett a little bit too heavy in his touch, and Rose brings it back the other way. Gives it up to Claire, who goes across to Joseph. Back to Rose. Rose pulls up for the 3. A little bit short on that one. Anthony grabs the rebound for Canada. Latam Mays, the ball is going through him. Oh, what a pass by Latam Mays. Anthony can't get it to go. Threads the needle. Canada going through Latam Mays at every opportunity. Such an exciting prospect for the future of Canadian basketball. Will send Joel Anthony to the line. Obviously, he had a storied career throughout the NBA. Recently released from his contract, so he's a free agent, 35 years old. This is his 38th cap for the Canadian national team. And a stalwart of that national program, providing inspiration for an awful lot of young Canadians to take up the sport. Connects with the second and extends the Canadian lead back out to 7. With just over 4.5 minutes played in this first quarter. Rose now brings it up over the half. Being guarded closely by Latam Mays, almost stolen away, manages to hold on to it. Claire comes up to set a screen. Rose loses his footing, but hands it off to Burrows. Burrows almost throws it out of bounds. Shot clock drops down to 5. Bahamas are struggling to get a shot off. Oh my goodness, no way. What a play by Claire. Shot clock running down, throws the prayer up and gets the roll of the basketball gods. Gets the 2 to go. Yeah, basketball gods are shining on Claire this evening as he throws up the prayer, goes off the glass and gets the roll for 2. Exactly the response you'd expect. Joseph picks up his first foul for the Bahamas. As Canada make a couple of changes. Pierre's into the game for the first time, as is Hanlon. But a turnover now, and the Bahamas will get the ball back as they bring in Nesbitt for the first time this evening. As Claire goes to the bench. Going to the form book so far, but the Bahamas will be reasonably happy. Oh, what a pass! And a huge throw down by Burrows. And that's what the Bahamas are here to do. Create some waves. Pierre now with the ball. Scrub goes back to Pierre. Pierre drives the baseline, spins inside into the paint, spins back, goes up with a short left hand. Can't get it to go. Klassen tries to chase it down, not quick enough, and it'll be a Bahamas ball. And here's the backdoor pass for the alley-oop and the thunder jam from Burrows. The Canadian crowd appreciated that one. Rose now takes the shot, can't get it to go. Scrub comes away with the rebound. Feeds it inside to Klassen. Klassen is rejected, but he's fouled. Just wait to see which of the Bahama players was called for that one. That's called on Rose. Picks up his first foul of the game. Good hustle though, but it sends Klassen to the line for 2 shots. Klassen showing his commitment to the national team program. Plays over in Greece in the domestic league, Heber A1. And made the journey across the Atlantic to play his first ever competitive international game. International basketball really is a motivator for an awful lot of players. Bain now comes back to Carey. Carey kicks it back out to Rose. Rose slows it down. Shot clock drips down to 6. Rose is going to have to make a move. He's double teamed now by Klassen. And just loses the handle, turns it over, and it'll be a Canadian ball on the baseline. 3:37 to play in the first quarter. Canada 16, Bahamas 11. And Scrub brings it up over the half for Canada. Trying to lose his defender. That's some good defense by Carey though, not giving Scrub the open look, and Bahamas come away with it in the hands of Burrows. Into Carey. Carey looking to back his way down. It's knocked away by Scrub. Still going to be a Bahamas ball on the baseline. Bahamas will make a change as Baker comes into the game for the first time and Rose goes to the bench. Baker inbounds it. Oh, that's a tough play by Carey. Can't get it to go. Hits the hardwood quite hard. And Canada come away with the ball. Scrub now goes inside to Pierre. Comes back out to Hanlon, back inside to Pierre. Good patience by Canada. They're looking to work the low post. Comes to Klassen, back out to Scrub. Shot clock down to 5. Scrub comes inside to Klassen, floats inside with the left hand. Too heavy with it though. And Nesbitt grabs the rebound for the Bahamas. Baker. Carey back to Nesbitt, into Burrows. Burrows now going up against Klassen. Will he look to take him on? He'll look to back him down. Comes back out though to Carey. Carey only able to put up the air ball though. Doesn't manage to get hold of any part of the basket and straight out of bounds for a Canadian ball. And Pierre will inbound it as Carey goes to the bench for the Bahamas. Scrub now with the ball. Back to Hanlon. Hanlon to the elbow. Has to readjust mid-air. Pierre takes a jumper. He shoots an air ball as well. Small scrappy phase of play here at the Scotiabank Centre. Just waiting for what the call is. I presume it's either an out-of-bounds or a backcourt violation. So it will be a Canadian ball on the side as Nortman comes into the game for the first time for the Bahamas. Scrub now with the ball at the top, being guarded by Baker. Uses the screen set by Klassen. Pierre now with the ball. Nortman straight into the action, and Nortman straight onto the scorebook for picking up the foul. That will send Klassen to the line for 2 shots. As Bahamas are into the bonus after their 5th team foul. Klassen, such a big body and such a presence. He's going to cause the Bahamas problems all night, standing at 6'10". He's not just a 6'10", he's also a very big build. He's only got 2 points, misses both those 3 throws. And Baker takes control of the ball for Bahamas. Bain now. The ball comes back to Baker. Baker looks to drive the baseline. Great defense by Scrub. Baker's claiming he's pushing him out of bounds. It's just good defensive footwork by Scrub, forcing him to take the impossible angle. Changes for Canada as Klassen goes to the bench after drawing a couple of fouls from the Bahamas. In his place has come Glaze, who sets a screen for Scrub at the top. Drives inside, off the glass and 2. Big and 1 play. Some fought for Bahamas, tried to swat it, couldn't get hold of it. So he'll go to the line for the 3-point play. Can he convert from the bonus stripe? And he does. Philip Scrub, part of the Freyport Skyliners in the German BBL, picking up his 20th cap this evening as he goes to the bench. Canada lead 19-11 with 1:16 left in this first quarter. Nesbitt now with the ball. Oh, that's a nice pass. And Hanlon caught on the wrong side of Bain. Had no option really but to foul him. He was going to give up the easy basket if he didn't. Hanlon picks up his first foul. And the Bahamas inbound the ball. It's stolen away though by by Pierre. Raton Mays looks to drive inside, it's stripped away. Still going to be a Canadian ball. Good hands by Baker. He's really brought some energy to the floor since coming off the bench. Just under a minute to play in the opening quarter here at the Scotiabank Centre. Glaze now. Hands off to Raton Mays. Raton Mays turns the corner, floats inside, gives it back to Glaze. Beautiful 1-2 punch between Glaze and Raton Mays. Bain now with the ball on the wing. Gives it up to Nortman. Nortman looking for options in front of him. Can't find anything and it's knocked away by the Canadians. Shot clock down to 6. Baker will have to make something happen and have to make it happen quickly. Shoots a long 3. Bangs it off the iron and comes away in the hands of Scrub. To Hanlon. Hanlon slows it down. The shot clock's off as Canada look to take the final shot of the quarter. No surprise, the ball's in the hands of Raton Mays. Glaze comes up, sets the screen for Raton Mays. Pick and roll game. Raton Mays pulls up for a difficult long 2. Hits the back of the iron and it's too heavy. And that'll be the end of the first quarter. As expected, Canada having the better of the first quarter action. And they'll be reasonably content going to their huddle with a 21-11 lead.
Guys, everybody come. Obviously, we didn't come ready to play because we didn't get punched in our mouth. We don't know where we're supposed to be on offense. And everybody just standing around. We don't know where the hell we're supposed to be on offense. If we run in the Spurs, then you're supposed to be in the middle. Yeah. And then back.
Well, we've had an interesting first 10 minutes here at the Scotiabank Centre in Halifax, Canada. Canada leading 21 to Bahamas 11. And I think the stats tell you what you need to know. Canada have had their way from the outside, and they've also dominated the boards. They've grabbed some offensive boards and controlled their own, and that really has led them to have a 10-point lead here in the opening game of the 2019 FIBA World Cup qualification. As Canada look to progress as expected, and the Bahamas, in their first ever appearance in the World Cup qualification, look to make some waves. Canadians have made 13 appearances at the World Cup finals. They have an overall record of 37 wins, 65 losses at the World Cup finals. Their last appearance was back in 2010, where they finished 22nd, unable to win a game that time. They'll be confident and keen to make their way back to the World Cup finals and maybe make a difference this time and come away with a few wins. And who knows, maybe even a podium finish. But here at the Scotiabank Centre, we're just about to start the second quarter. Canada clearly in control, but Bahamas have shown they have some firepower in their locker. And if they need to score in a hurry, maybe they can. Still the ability to cause an upset. Carey will inbound the ball to Baker as we start this second quarter. Nesbitt now on the far wing. Goes inside to Carey. Comes back out. Tough shot from the wing there from Nesbitt. Can't get it to go. And Ratan Mays grabs the rebound for Canada. Drives inside. Too strong for Bain to deal with. And he's forced to foul him. So it'll be a sideline ball for Canada as Bahamas pick up an early first team foul here in the second quarter, and Bahamas will make an early change as well as Joseph comes into the game. And Bain comes out. Bennett now with the ball at the top. Nice pass inside. Can't convert though, but Scrub will go to the line for 2 shots. As the foul is picked up by Carey.
His first team foul, number 2.
And Scrub goes to the line for 2. Connects with the first. Scrub, part of the Scandone Nevolian team in Lega A in Italy. Been competing in the Basketball Champions League this season, averaging 6.2 points per game and 4.5 rebounds per game in that tournament. So a reasonably strong start to his domestic season. Be hoping to carry that through to his international form here. Nortman now at the top, looking for options in front of him. Nesbitt feeds Carey. Carey now looking to make his way to the basket. Strong move, but even better defense by Thomas Scrub. And Canada quickly have the ball back. Heslip fakes the 3. Hands it off to Bennett. Bennett finds a baseline cut by Scrub. Heslip now from the corner. What beautiful team basketball by Canada. A very solid play as they move the ball with ease. Oh, tough shot taken there by Joseph. Way too early in the shot clock. Coach Boley won't be happy with that. In fact, he's looking to make a treble substitution as we speak. Ratan Mays looking to shake up his defender. Pulls up for the long 2. Can't quite connect with that one, and Carey comes around with a rebound. Baker now looking to set up the Bahamas offense. They're finding it easy to move the ball around the perimeter. Not so easy to find an interior pass. Baker takes a 3. And the loose ball comes out. Waiting to see who the foul's called on. Looks like it's going to be a foul called on the Canadian captain, Joel Anthony. Canada sit with a 15-point lead with 8:20 to play in the second. Just really a collision, but it is Anthony moving forward as Joseph tried to make his way to the basket. Really an accidental contact, but still a foul. And that's Canada's first team foul of the quarter as Canada make wholesale changes. And Rose takes over point guard responsibilities. Goes into the post to Clare. Clare looking to make some moves now as he drives inside, uses his body weight. Creates a space, but can't quite get the shot to drop. Heslip now for three. Short on that one. Scrub working so hard for the rebound. Such a hustle player for the Canadian team. Just have to see what the stopping play is. I think it might be an injury to Carey, forcing him to the bench. Canada will make a change as Philip Scrub comes out and Thomas Scrub comes in. Oh, an awful lot of blood coming out of Burrows' eye there. They'll have to do quite a big patch-up job to get him back on the floor for the Bahamas. It's not what you like to see, the captain being taken out of the action. Let's see how it happens now. Looks like Scrub and Burrows fighting hard for the rebound. Might have caught an elbow. And no doubt the Bahamas bench will be working hard to get their captain patched up and back in the game. And Scrub goes to the line for two, connects with the first. And the second, that takes his personal tally up to 8 points. And the Canadian lead up to 17 with 7:48 left in this second quarter. Canada exerting their authority as Carey goes to the bench and is replaced by Cox. Rose now brings it up into the paint, flows up right hand, too short on that one. Chases down his own rebound, good hustle by Rose. Tries to throw it back, but it's intercepted by Heslip. Heslip now to Scrub. Scrub drives inside, off the glass for the two. And Canada take their total to 30. Cox now looking for some passing options. Gets knocked away by Bennett. Heslip picks up the loose ball, goes inside of Bennett. Nicked away by Cox though. Good chase down after turning the ball over in the first place. That's 7 turnovers for the Bahamas so far. Canada only with 1. They'll have to cut those mistakes down if they want to qualify for the World Cup. Rattan Mays now floats inside, floats it up to Anthony. Anthony can't quite connect. I think Rattan Mays was throwing the alley-oop pass, and Anthony said, I don't think I have that left in my knees at my age. I'm going to bring it down and go up for the reverse layup, but couldn't quite get it to go. Bahamas come back the other way. Beautiful dump-in pass by Rose to Claire. And Claire cleans up off the glass for two. Bahamas will breathe a sigh of relief as they get their scoring underway in this second quarter after 3.5 minutes almost. Heslip for three. Oh, drains another three. Brady Heslip is on fire. He's up to 12 points personal now. And the foul is called on Rattan Mays. Just his first foul, second team foul of the quarter for Canada. Canada will make a change as they bring Klassen back into the game. And Anthony goes to the bench. Joseph will inbound the ball for the Bahamas. Long shot from outside. Another air ball from the Bahamas. Gift the ball back to Canada on the baseline. Rattan Mays will bring it up as Bahamas apply some full court zonal pressure. But the ball is quickly skipped to Heslip. Drains another three. Brady automatic Heslip from the corner. He's up to 15 points personal. Tapped away by Canada off a Canadian hand. It'll still be the Bahamas ball. Rose inbounds it. Munnings now at the top. To Cox. Back to Rose. Rose calls for the screen. Claire obliges. and travels on his way to the basket. Turnover number 8 for the Bahamas. .5:40 to play. Just waiting for a change. The buzzer, the horn went from the officials' table just to gain the attention of the officials. Just a quick clarification of a situation on the floor. And substitution. Nope, timeout has been called. And I think Coach Bole's face tells you an awful lot about how he's feeling and how his roster will be feeling.
Everybody talking and nobody doing their job. Guys, you got to dig in deep and play defense. Our defense is terrible, and we don't know what the hell we want to do on offense. If you can run this two-man game, then you got to clear everybody on the opposite side. And you need to go on your strong side, which is your right. Stand up to your left in case you can penetrate the box, all right?
Seem to have some difficulties at the moment with the microphone in the Canadian hustle. In the Canadian huddle, but no doubt they're reasonably happy with what is happening on the floor at the moment. They have a commanding 23-point lead. They've held the Bahamas to just 2 points here in the first 4.5 minutes of the second quarter. And Coach Bole making it very, very clear that they need to pick up their defensive effort if they're going to get back into this game. And also the Bahamas need to work to their strengths. He's looking for a little two-man game, some pick and roll action at the top between a couple of his guys, but it needs to be set up correctly. He needs to clear out the weak side so there's no Canadian help defense, and that's something the Bahamas will need to do quickly if they want to battle back into this one. 5:37 to play. Canada 36, Bahamas 13. Canada in a very strong position at the moment. Scrub. Offensive foul is called on Klassen. Good work by Munnings. He was outsized in the low post, but forced Klassen into fouling him to take position in that low post. That's Klassen's third foul. Picked up very early fouls there, and that's the third team foul of the quarter as well. Rose now to Claire. Yeah, Claire hits the long two. Coach Bole will be happy to see that drop from Claire. Ratan Mays now going up against Cox. Steps back, long two. He's short on that one. Straight off the iron and out. Supposedly, actually, officials seen it come off the hand of Claire. So it's going to be a Canadian ball. Ratan Mays now to Heslip. Heslip fakes the three and drives inside. Smart move by Heslip. He knows that they're going to target him because he's been shooting the lights out from the perimeter. So a little faint shot fake just gets his player moving forward, and he can blast past him. Draw the foul. Scrub now inbounds it to Bennett. Gives it back up to Ratan Mays. And guarded very closely by Joseph. Puts it out to Heslip. Heslip loses it after Joseph reaches in. Rose now nice behind the back, floats inside, right hand teardrop, back of the iron and out. And Canada are out of the races. 3-on-1 break to Heslip for three. He's short on that one. Heslip's shooting has been phenomenal this evening, just misses out on that one. Rose now to Claire. Rose turns the corner, skips it to Cox. Cox will shoot the three. Comes up short. A long rebound though will be scooped up by Rose, and they bring it back the other way. Shot clock drips down to 10. Pick and roll action at the top between Rose and Claire. Can't get it to go this time. Scrub comes up with a rebound for Canada, and Heslip is out on the break. Rejected by Munnings. Not in my house. And a blocking foul is called on Scrub as Bahamas were out at the races. Great chase down, blocked by Munnings. And that's exactly what Coach Bole was asking for, an increase in intensity and energy on the defensive end. Munnings obliges with a big swat. And Bahamas get out of the races, but it's a foul called on Scrub. After that, we'll go into a timeout before We see Bahamas take the ball. Canada call the timeout. Heslip's had a huge start to the game so far. He's only played 11 minutes and 12 seconds. He's already got himself 15 points. It's a great haul from Heslip.
Come straight out inside the Spurs street. I want you to catch him in the back door for the alley-oop. All right? So you pretend you and David come here as the 4 and 5. As the no, you in the middle. All right? He come in here as the 4 and 5, but you can screen for him. You can read him, and then you can go back door. All right? LJ, he is going to go back door. You look for that. If you don't have that, David, you got to be able to slide down and get the ball.
Interesting there, no doubt really. Coach Bole just trying to draw up an offense to get themselves a score. He's hoping that that will trigger a bit of rhythm and a bit of momentum in their offense, which they've struggled to find here in the second quarter. They've only scored 4 points in just over 6 minutes of action in this second quarter. And Joseph will have the ball on the inbound. Ball is inbounded to Munnings. Doesn't look like they've run the play. Yes, they have. Munnings goes up for the alley-oop. As drawn out by Coach Bole, but Munnings can't connect with it. Straight off the coach's board. And Canada have the ball now in the hands of Scrub. Comes back to Ratan Mays. Anthony sets a big screen. Nice kick from Ratan Mays. Good ball movement. Heslip for 3. He's too heavy with that one. And 3 Bahamian players fight for it. And Anthony is called for the foul. He's kind of claiming he wasn't even involved. That was more 3 players on the Bahamas team fighting out amongst themselves for the ball. Anthony's called for the foul. That's his second. Ratan Mays will go to the bench as Hanlon checks in, as does Thomas Scrub. And Bahamas will make a change as well as Cox goes to the bench. Joseph can't connect with the first. And replacing Cox is Semfort. Great hustle there by Joseph. Goes inside to Munnings, and Munnings gets the short 2. Can the Bahamas find some momentum in the closing few minutes of this first half? Scrub now tries to go long to Thomas Scrub and finds him. Bahamas now sitting in a 2-3 zone. Scrub in the corner, pulls up for the mid-range 2. Gets it to go. Takes himself up to 4 points. Semfort now with the ball to Rose. Tries to find the pass, but can't, and it comes out to Scrub now. Philip Scrub for another 2. He's up to 14 points personal. He's had a great start to his World Cup qualification campaign. Rose now comes around the corner, almost stolen away by Thomas Scrub. Just straight out of bounds instead. Canada will make the change as the captain Anthony goes to the bench. And Trasolini comes in. It's his first appearance in the World Cup qualifiers. It's also his first competitive cap for Canada. Semfort now hands it off to Baker. Baker comes back to Nesbitt. To Munnings. To Baker. Bahamas moving it well, but shot clock's down to 3. Baker has to shoot a tough 3, comes up short. Munnings can't get it off in time. It's good hustle by Munnings. They just took too long to get the shot away. And Pierre will inbound the ball to Scrub as Canada continue to hold a dominant position in this game. Scrub now. Pierre sets the screen. Scrub will pull the trigger on a 3. Doesn't connect with that one, and the Bahamas come away with it. Rose now uses a screen set by Nesbitt. Comes back to Semfort. Back to Rose. Rose checks his feet. Are still in bounds. Drives inside. Picks up his dribble and throws it away. Trasolini now. Ball comes back to him. Two-handed jam. Trasolini That's the way to start your international account, with the flush. Baker now looking to find a lane, just an avenue to get to the basket. Canadian defense working very well. Their lateral footwork, very impressive, closing all options. Nesbitt shoots from outside again. Bahamas being forced to take tough, long-range shots at the moment. Scrub tries to get to the basket, gives it up to Trasolini. Comes back to Pierre. Pierre now to Hanlon. Hanlon for three. No joy. And Bahamas come away with it as we enter the final minute of this first half. Baker with the ball for the Bahamas, looking to shake Scrub, his defender. Can't lose him though. Great defense by Canada continues. He's had to pick his dribble up. Shot clock down to just 6 seconds. What can Rose do with it? Trying to shake his man. Good defense by Hanlon. Rose manages to get a shot away, but it's a contested one, and Canada come down with the ball. And the Bahamas commit the foul. They're in the bonus. As Munnings picks up his first foul, that will send Canada to the charity stripe. Kazakine comes into the game for the first time for Canada. Pierre connects with the first from the line. Sean Pierre applies his trade in the Italian top league for Banco di Serdigiano. He's picking up his 4th cap tonight. And Canada out to a 27-point lead as we're into the final 30 seconds of the second quarter. Baker now looking to get a score. Burrows, thankfully for the Bahamas, has been patched up and he's back on the floor after picking up a cut in the first. A very obvious offensive foul is called on Sem Fort there. Drives to the basket and just literally pushes his man away, pleads innocence, but the replay doesn't help his cause any. Just shoved Kazakine to the floor. And Canada will probably settle or look to settle for the final shot of the quarter as we're down to the final 10 seconds. Keane now with the ball at the top, being guarded closely by Baker. Drives inside and is fouled. So Keane will go to the line for 2 shots.
Bahamas foul on Darton Baker, his first.
Baker is called for the foul for the Bahamas. That's his first foul of the game.
Shooting the deuce.
And that will send Keane to the line for 2 free throws. Connects with the first of the 2. Picks up his first points in the international jersey. Oh, sorry, it's not Keane that's gone to the line, it's Trasolini. 4 seconds to go, 45 to Canada, Bahamas 17. Burrows looks to get a tough 3 away, airballs it, and that is the end of the first half. And we have a 43-17 lead to Canada at the end of the first half as the teams head back to the locker rooms. The Canadian team will be very happy with their first half, their first 20 minutes of action here at the World Cup qualifiers. Bahamas will need to change their game plan if they're going to come back into this one in the second half of the game. They've got a big third and fourth quarter ahead of them. Let's have a look at some of the stats. And that shows you exactly what's happening. The Bahamas are being forced to take outside shots, and so far they've not hit 1 3-pointer, whereas the Canadians are scoring from all over the court. Canadians are also dominating the rebounding battle on both ends of the floor, 22-19. And they've stolen the ball 5 times from the Bahamas. The Bahamas turned it over 11 times in that first half. They'll need to protect the ball an awful lot better than that. But the perimeter shooting has been dominated by Canada, and in particular Brady Heslip, with 15 points in that opening half, and has leads all scorers. And Claire leads Bahamas with 8 points. Here are some of the highlights of the first half for you to enjoy. And it really has been a dominant performance from the Canadians. They won the first quarter 21-11. They won the second quarter 22-6. And the Bahamas really don't have an answer to the Canadians at the moment. The Bahamas defense has picked up, but offensively, they really are struggling to find any open shots or any shots near the basket. They're being forced to take long shots, and usually late in the shot clock as well. Hence a 0 from 11 statistic for their opening for their three-pointers in this first 2 quarters. The Bahamas will have to start hitting perimeter shots if they're going to come back into this one. But we've still got 20 minutes of action to go, and plays like that from the captain Burrows will no doubt get the crowd on their feet and give the Bahamas and the fans back in the Bahamas something to shout about. And he enjoyed that one. That was shortly before he actually picked up an elbow. Quite a bad cut, but managed to patch him up, and he was back into the game later in the second quarter. And there's Heslip once again hitting another big 3 from the corner, contested, but he's just automatic from the perimeter. Canadians really have set their stall out early, and it's important for them. They've got a big game on Monday in the second game of window 1 of their qualification. They make the trip to the Dominican Republic on Monday, and that is a big, big game. Those 2 teams are the hotly tipped teams to lead this group. The other 4th team in the group is the Virgin Islands, who the Bahamas will take on at home on Monday. So both these teams have got games on Monday to finish out window 1. Canada will be looking to go into to leave window 1 with 2 wins under their belts. And the Bahamas will be looking to make a fist of it in this second half here. And who knows, they might come away with a win. It's a big ask, but with the passion and pride that they play with, maybe they can come back into this one. And if not, the game against the Virgin Islands on Monday in Nassau is an absolutely huge game for them. But this is what the new qualification for the World Cup is all about. Exciting basketball in front of home fans to enjoy. And global basketball really is going to the next level with the 18th iteration of the FIBA World Cup. Making sure local fans see their teams play as often as possible, and inspiring generation after generation of new basketball players to take to the hardwood. Canada really did dominate the opening 2 quarters of action here. Hitting shot after shot from the perimeter. They really were getting whatever options they wanted, whereas the Bahamas were forced into very tough shots indeed, and often from outside, with, as you can see there, the shot clock running down. That's not what they wanted. They wanted easier shots closer to the basket. That's what they needed, and that's what they'll need in the second half. They'll need to work hard to get some easy open opportunities. The Canadian defense really hasn't given them many options in this first 2 quarters. They'll be hoping that the second quarters are more favourable for them and that they can find some easier options on the offensive end, whilst going up a few gears on the defensive end as well. They want to see more plays like that from their captain, Burrows. Big alley-oop play that got the Canadian fans on their feet. They appreciated that one as much as the Bahama fans did. But the Canadians have enjoyed scoring across the board. Majority of their roster getting onto the scoreboard. In fact, all 12 players have featured on the court, and only 3 players are yet to register on the scorebook. Whereas for the Bahamas, they've only got 4 players that have actually scored. 8 points for Clare, 4 points for Burrows, 3 points for Carey and 2 points for Munnings. No one else yet to score, but everyone has featured on the floor in that opening 2 quarters of action. As we see some more of the highlights from this opening half of action here at the Scotiabank Centre in Halifax, Canada. And Heslip really has had a great start to the game. He's hit some big threes, but a great chase down block by Munnings. Shows what Bahamas are capable of. They just need to put some consistency to their play and put together a strong 20 minutes of basketball. If not to come away with the win, at least to show some confidence. So that's all we have for the first half It's been an exciting one. Make sure you come back for a full second half of action as Canada look to continue on their journey to victory.
Toyota, the proud mobility partner of Canada Basketball. Toyota's partnership with Canada Basketball represents their commitment to mobility and movement for all through vehicles, sports experiences, and more. We'd like to thank our sports hydration partner, BioSteel, for keeping both teams hydrated during the game. Drink the pink, BioSteel. A shout out to Canada's basketball's newest partner, proud to have Dreammaker Developments on board and on our jersey. We're very excited right now because there are 100 basketball teams in attendance here tonight at Scotiabank Center. And this one is for you, guys and gals. We have the names of all players that are here. We're going to make a draw. Captain Canada is going to make a draw. And man, have we got a great prize to give away. Captain Canada will draw the winner of a VIP trip to Toronto in June to see Team Canada play at the ACC. All right, Captain Canada, let's find out who our lucky winner is. Captain Canada. From Kings Minor Basketball Association, the winner of a trip to Toronto to see Team Canada at the ACC, Rena Manning. There she is right there. From Kings Minor Basketball, Rena Manning, congratulations from Basketball Canada.
Hello and welcome back to the Scotiabank Centre here in Halifax, Canada. And what an exciting first half we've had for the home fans at least. Canada 45, Bahamas 17. And the Canadians have had their way in this first half. A 28-point lead is a product of that. And they have absolutely locked down the Bahamian team. We've only had 11 in the first quarter and even less in the second as 6. Can Coach Bole bring his troops back together and the Bahamas fight back into this one? Coach Rana will be very happy with his charges, and the team in white and red have had a strong opening 20 minutes to their World Cup qualification campaign. They need to make sure their eyes don't turn to Monday's game as they'll make a trip to the Dominican Republic. They'll need to keep fully focused and get the job finished in style here in Halifax on their home turf. Leading all scorers in the first half was Brady Heslip, 15 points. And Claire was leading the scoring for the Bahamas with 8 points. That said, Rose has already had a pretty good game so far, as he's got 6 rebounds, 6 assists, but he's yet to trouble them on the scoreboard. As the Bahamas come back to the floor, Burrows, their captain, picked up a cut above his eye in the first half during a hustle play. They managed to patch him up and he was back in action before the end of the second quarter, the true warrior that he is. And that's an important part of the puzzle for Bahamas, to have their captain up and running. Now this is the opening window of the first phase of qualification for the FIBA 2019 World Cup. So there's 2 games played over this weekend, then there's 2 games played towards the back end of February, and then 2 games played over the weekend that crosses over between June and July in 2018. That will complete the first phase of qualification. And once again, I'm sorry if you heard some language that may not be appropriate for the Bahamas. I think he summed it up there. They need to show some passion and show some pride and fight back into this game, as they have a big game on Monday themselves, as they will host their first ever World Cup qualification game in Nassau, as they welcome the Virgin Islands to the Bahamas. But we have 20 minutes left here in Halifax at the Scotiabank Centre, where Canada will look to continue to exert their dominance, whilst the Bahamas will look to fight their way back in. Okay, Ratan Mays now inbounds the ball to Scrub as we get the second half underway. Bennett sets the screen. Scrub gives it up to Anthony. Anthony now hands it off to Ratan Mays. Ratan Mays, beautiful crossover, slides inside, goes up strong, and he's fouled. As he gets to the basket, such an explosive guard, Ratan Mays. Such a difficult defensive assignment for any player to take on. Part of the Westchester Knicks G League team, obviously an affiliate of the New York Knicks. He'll be hoping at some point this season to get the call up to the Knicks, playing alongside the likes of Porzingis. No doubt would be a dream come true for the young man. He's at the line for 2 shots now, and takes his tally to 6. And the Bahamas bring it back the other way in the hands of their captain, Burrows. Ball goes into Claire. Claire's going to look to back his way to the basket now against Anthony. Anthony doesn't let him, and the ball has to come back out to Joseph. Little pick and roll action. Claire now drives inside, throws up a right-handed hook, can't get it to go. And that's a defensive action that's really helped Canada. When the Bahamas big men have posted up, they've made sure that they're only getting the ball when they're a long way from the basket. Scrub now drives inside, loses the handle. Bahamas collect the loose ball. No, they don't. And Scrub manages to get it back. He'll pull up for a mid-range 2. Drains it to the bottom of the bucket. Bahamas try and break in the hands of Burrows. And Burrows will go to the line for 2 shots as Bennett picks up the foul. That's the first foul on Bennett and the first team foul of the third quarter for Canada. "32-year-old Burrows, an important part of the Bahamas roster. Plies his trade in the second tier of French basketball. Made the trip across the Atlantic to be part of these World Cup qualifiers. Connects with one of two. Scrub now, skips it to Heslip. Back to Ratan Mays, calls for the screen from Bennett, uses it. Looks to split the defenders, ball comes back out of Heslip. Heslip with a fake, and it all opens up for him. And the slow advancing Clare clatters Heslip. We'll go to the line for 2 shots. And will add to his personal tally, no doubt. Already at 15 points, primarily from the perimeter. Nice fake and hesitation, drives inside and draws Clare into fouling him. Connects with the first. Heslip picking up his 36th competitive cap this evening. He's averaged 9.3 points per game in his international career. Connects with the second. Extends the lead further, out to 33 points now. Munnings comes into the game for the Bahamas. Rose now with the ball to Carey, back to Burrows. Bahamas move the ball well around the perimeter. Almost stolen away. Burrows holds on to it, looks to go backdoor. And the foul is called on Anthony as Carey makes a strong move to the basket. And Carey will go to the line for 2 shots as Canada pick up their second team foul of the quarter.
Checking in for Canada, number 7, Owen Clausen.
Clausen comes into the game as Anthony goes to the bench. And Carey's at the line for 2.
Michael Carey on the line, shooting his second for the Bahamas.
Look at the strike for the second. And this is the second as well. Ball now in the hands of Heslip. Ratan Mays squaring up against Munnings. Munnings will need quick footwork to stay up with him. Floats it inside to Bennett. Bennett's working hard in the paint. Comes off a Bahamas player. So it'll be a Canadian ball on the baseline. Ratan Mays to inbound it. To Heslip. Heslip, quick trigger. Gets it to go. Takes his tally to 21. Sorry, to 19. Oh, that's a strong move by Carey, and exactly what the Bahamas need. And they need their players to go strong to the basket, be determined. Scrub now with the ball for Canada. Run up against Carey. Bennett sets the screen. Little pick and roll action as Bennett looks to back Burrows down. Couple of pivots, takes a tough shot. Good defense by Burrows for Bahamas. And they'll come away with the ball. Rose slows things down. Goes to Munnings. Munnings now looking to drive inside. Takes a couple of steps, gets it off the glass and gets the 2. Bahamas starting to find some offense now. Up to 6 points already in this third quarter. That's the same total they scored in the entire second quarter, and it's only taken them 3 minutes. Ah, beautiful roll around the screen from Ratan Mays. Gets the easy 2 on the left-handed lay-in. Burrows wide open for 3. Short on that one, and Scrub grabs the rebound for Canada. To Bennett in the corner. Bennett for 3. He's too heavy on that one. And it's come off the hands of Philip Scrub, so it'll be a Bahamas ball on the baseline. 55 to Canada, 23 to the Bahamas. 6:38 left in this third quarter. A slightly subdued crowd. They've been entertaining the first 20 minutes and they'll be expecting plenty of the same in the second 20 minutes. Burrows now picks a dribble up, looks to go inside. That's a tough move by Claire. Being guarded by Heslip. Heslip just pushed to one side and Claire goes up for the baby hook. It's a 2 to go. Down to a 30-point deficit. Rattan Mays almost stolen away by Munnings. Munnings can't quite keep up with him. So Munnings will pick up his second foul. Third team foul of Bahamas of the third quarter. Double change for Canada. Sees Thomas Scrub come into the game and Pierre. Bahamas will also make the change as Carey goes to the bench. And Bain comes in. Rattan Mays now. Couple of hesitations, nothing there. Goes to the corner. Ball fed inside to Klassen. Klassen back out to Rattan Mays. More hesitations. Skips it to Scrub. Scrub off the glass for 2. Beautiful controlled shot by Thomas Scrub. Rose now. Takes the 3. Still can't get it to go. Bahamas still to score from the outside. We've almost played 25 minutes here and they haven't hit a shot from outside yet. They are 0 from 13 from the perimeter. Rattan Mays with the ball at the top for Canada. Being guarded by Burrows. Uses his quick foot speed, but good defense by Burrows. Foul is called though. Rattan Mays will go to the line for 2 shots. That's his second personal foul. And Canada into the bonus after the Bahamas go into their team foul situation for the quarter. And Rattan Mays is at the line for 2. In and out on the first. Only shooting 52% from the 3-throw line so far this season for the Westchester Knicks in the G League. Connects with the second. And the lead is back out to 33. Burrows now with the ball. Uses a screen set by Claire. Feeds the low post. And Claire goes to work. Spins his way in. Too heavy on the hook shot. And Klassen grabs the rebound. Rattan Mays now. And a carrying call. Very, very rare call that you see in modern basketball. Rattan Mays putting his hand under the basketball. And a timeout has been called by the Bahamas on that carry. So when we come back into the action, the Bahamas will get a sideline ball, but Coach Bole wants to have a quick word with his troops and see if they can make a play to get back into this game here at Halifax in Canada.
Anytime you try to penetrate, the middleman, you hear the cut off all the time on the side. No, Furley is in the middle. Remember, Furley, you got all corner pass. You got all corner pass, so you got to get out there. All right? Any dribble drive from 11, be traveling. All right? You play pressure on the court. All right? Any dribble drive, let's travel. But you got to watch these corner pass. If Furley digs right now, they're just going one-on-one. Right? So dig on it. This trip down the floor, let's play at a swing or 2 up, one or the other. All right? Watch for pressure. Sean, you're in that with these pressure. Right? Got it? I'm not sure how we did on that segment. Maybe 1 by 2 next segment.
Interesting to hear Coach Runner there. Obviously, with such a big lead, you need to keep your team motivated. So he's breaking the game down into segments, into breaks in play. And he's asking his team to come away having won every segment between now and the end of the game. Smart move to keep a team motivated. And then Coach Bole on the other end of the court identify Rattan Mays as a huge threat for them and asking to double on any dribble drive. So if he goes to the basket, expect the Bahamas defense to swarm all over him. He'll need to find the pass out of that double team. The Bahamas now inbound the ball to Rose. Claire looks to go inside to Nesbitt. Nesbitt fighting hard to keep Scrub off his back, fighting too hard and couldn't hold on to the interior pass. Keane now brings it up over the half for Canada. Takes over point guard responsibilities. So Ratan Mays has gone to the bench. Scrub now drives inside, skips it to Keane. Too heavy with that one, and the iron rejects it out. Burrows brings it up over the half for the Bahamas. And Claire hands it off to Rose. To Bain. Bain drives inside, tough move. Draws the foul, and he'll go to the line for 2 shots. As Keane picks up the foul for Canada. That's the 3rd team foul of the quarter for Canada. And that will send Bain to the line for 2 shots. It was interesting to listen to the Bahamas press conference before they left to come here to Canada for their first game. Coach Bole made it clear that every game they're going in to win. They're not here to make up the numbers. They want to make qualification to the World Cup. In fact, he even wanted to qualify for Tokyo 2020. That's lofty aims for such a young basketball nation. But without those kind of aims and without striving for the highest goals, you won't get players to buy into it. Nice move by Keane. Goes to the corner. Scrub takes the fake and the dribble. Too heavy on it though, and Bahamas will come away picking up the air ball. Rose now has it stolen away, but recovers the loose ball. Comes to Nesbitt. Nesbitt fakes a 3, drives the baseline. Tries to feed it back inside. Bain with a beautiful scoop move. Can't get it off the glass though. Nice spin. Found himself with acres of space. Keane drives the baseline. And Scrub has it on the wing, skips it to Keane. Keane now waiting for the screen from Pierre. Great ball movement here by the Canadians. Klassen goes under the basket, strong move. He's knocked away though by Claire. And the Bahamas will come the other way with the ball. Rose inside, drops the 2. That brings the deficit below 30, 58-29. And that's Rose's first score of the game. Klassen hands it back to Keane. Keane now looking for an open teammate. He's double teamed. Jump ball is given. Just have to wait to see the possession arrow. And that's in favour of the Bahamas. They'll get the ball on the turnover. And a double change for Canada. And changes for the Bahamas as well, as both coaches looking to rotate through their bench. I imagine half an eye on Monday's games. As Keane comes out of the game. And Heslip comes in. Rose comes out of the game also for the Bahamas. And Baker comes in. Nesbitt now with the ball on the far wing. Comes back to St. Fort. Back to Baker. Offensive foul is called on Nesbitt. An illegal screen that has left Ratan Mays on his hands and knees on the floor. Looks like he's taking a shot. A little bit shaken up. Back to his feet though, and he looks like he's good to go. Bit of a grimace, but no doubt he's okay to continue. That said, if you get hit by a man the size of Nesbitt, you're going to know it. As Nesbitt just lifts his elbow as Ratan Mays is coming through the screen. Connects with his midriff and just wins him slightly. We're back into the action. Hanlon now with the ball. Goes to Scrub, back to Hanlon. Bahamas in their zone defense. Ratan Mays not happy with the taking the 3. Hanlon now skips to the Ratan Mays. Wide open for 3 and drains the 3. Ratan Mays having a great game this evening. He's up to 11 points personal now. Burrows drives towards the basket, floats it up with his right hand, can't get it to go, and Scrub grabs the rebound. 4-on-3 break. Heslip drives inside, dumps it inside to Glaze. Nothing there though, and Bahamas will come away with it. Frantic phase of play. Bain drives inside, bit heavy, but gets the roll. Run and gun style from both teams. Rattan Mays now. Back to Scrub. Scrub open for three. Too heavy. And the Bahamas will grab the rebound. This style of play is going to play into the Bahamas' hands a little bit more open and free. And Burrows gets the two. No doubt Coach Rana will ask them to slow things down, get it back into a half-court game on both ends. Rattan Mays. Back to Hanlon. Hanlon for three. Way too heavy on that one. Bricks it. And St. Fort grabs the rebound. Sorry, Nortman grabs the rebound. Ball now in the hands of Baker. Can't get it to go, but he'll go to the line for two shots. Bahamas will be happy with the run and gun style. Coach Bole made it clear that that was a style they were looking for in this World Cup qualifiers. They want to get out and run. That's how they're going to compete with these teams. They want to compete on athleticism. They want to compete on pace and fitness. They don't want to get it into a technical and tactical battle. They don't want a game of chess. They want a physical battle. And Baker will go to the line for two shots. Gets the first to drop. He's up to 3 points. And the second. Hanlon now with the ball for Canada, gives it up to Rattan Mays. 26-point lead for the Canadians. Hanlon back to Rattan Mays. Bahamas still sitting in their zone defense. Tried to thread the eye of the needle. Nesbitt gets a hand to it though. Should have just let it go out of bounds naturally. But his intuition just made him jump after it. It was a knee-jerk reaction, but he only manages to get a palm to it, and it's out of bounds and a Canadian ball again. Scrub back to Rattan Mays. Shoots the three. In and out on that one. Rebound by Nesbitt. Momentum swinging towards Bahamas now. Baker comes back to the top to Nesbitt. Nesbitt back to Burrows. Good perimeter ball movement now. Tries to throw it inside, but Hanlon manages to steal it away. And Joseph compounds the error by fouling, and that will send Canada to the line for two shots. 35.5 seconds left here in the third quarter. Canada with a 26-point lead. Hanlon walks the full length of the floor as he was fouled on his own baseline. Takes his stance at the charity stripe and connects with the first. Back for the second. He's up to 4 points personal now. Baker running the point for the Bahamas. Gives it up to Joseph. Baker now looking to shake. Rattan Mays can't. Nesbitt back to Joseph. Joseph for three, and he drops the three. Big shot by Joseph. And that's the first three of the night for the Bahamas. And wouldn't you believe it, Heslip just kills the dream and drains a three of his own. Heslip up to 22 points personal now. Just drains another automatic robotic triple. He leads all scorers with 22 points. Claire leads the Bahamas with 10. And as we go to a timeout, as we go to the end of the third quarter, Canada lead it 66-38. Well, Canada in full control here at the Scotiabank Centre, leading 66-38 off the back of huge perimeter display from Heslip. He's totalling 22 points so far in this game. But that said, Canada dominated the opening 2 quarters. But in that third quarter, Canada 21, Bahamas 21. Bahamas resurgent in that third quarter. And it all came off the back of a change on the defensive end. They swapped up to a zone, which caused Canada some problems. It enabled them to score, but it also made their defensive intensity drop. It enabled some of the Bahamas defenders to leak out, and the transition game came into play for the Bahamas. It's exactly what Coach Bole wanted from the start, and maybe that's a lesson learned, that they'll run some more zone defense in the rest of their qualification games, because off the back of that zone defense, they were able to get some transition baskets. And that's how Bahamas are going to get into and win some of these qualification games as they look to battle their way to World Cup qualification. But we've got 10 minutes left here in Halifax, Canada. Game 1 for both Canada and the Bahamas in the qualification phase, Group D of the Americas. Qualification for the 2019 FIBA World Cup. And Scrub has had a big game. Philip Scrub, point guard responsibilities, really controlled the tempo at times for Canada. Hanlon now back to Scrub, uses the screen set by Bennett. Bennett flashes to the basket, nice move, and a nice early 2 points for Bennett in this final period. That's his first basket of the game. Baker just blasts to the basket and gets a 2 off the glass. This is what the Bahamas want to see. They want to see some passion and pride and some energy in their team. Scrub now brings it up over the half and slows things down. Ball now into the hands of Hanlon, feeds it into Bennett. Bennett with a two-handed hammer jam. With authority, the big man throws it down. Baker slows it down for the Bahamas. In the hands of Nortman to Burrows, inside to Nesbitt, rejected by Bennett. Not in my house. Ball goes back inside to Nesbitt. He gets a 2 off the glass. Strong move from the big man. 28-point lead for Canada. It's Nesbitt's first basket of the game. Scrub calls for the screen. And Bennett obliges. Ball goes inside to Bennett, but it's knocked away by Burrows. Oh, beautiful eye of the needle pass. And Joseph benefits from the gift, gets himself 2. And no real surprise there. Canada call a very early timeout here in the final quarter. Coach Rana will not be happy with the lackadaisical nature of his team on the court, and will want to make a quick correction as we see a replay from the backboard point of view of the big jam by Bennett. Comes down the other end and rejects it. No, he doesn't. It's the layup on that one. But Bennett had got a block in this final quarter as well. Bennett, opening phase has been strong. Let's have a listen to the Canadian huddle.
Keep going up strong. Take the ref and qualify.
Don't let him go behind you.
Yeah, the points from turnovers tells you part of the story of this evening's game. Points from turnovers 26-20 in favour. Points from turnovers, obviously a huge margin in favour of the Canadians, and no real surprise. Canada have turned the ball over 7 times. The Bahamas have turned the ball over 15 times. They're going to need to look after the ball and protect it an awful lot better than that if they want to qualify for the World Cup finals in China. We've got 8 minutes 30 left here in Halifax, Canada, and Canada leads 70-44 over the visiting Bahamas. As Hanlon brings the ball up over the half for the white and red of Canada. Scrub back out to Hanlon. Hanlon fakes the 3, drives inside, back out to Scrub. Good ball movement. Philip Scrub wide open. He drains the 3. Great patience from the Canadians on the offensive end. Unlike Baker, we talk about patience at one end and we talk about compulsion at the other, but Baker gets the three to drop. And Scrub has the ball knocked away, and Joseph grabs the rebound, grabs the loose ball. Nesbitt now to Baker. Baker fakes a three, drives inside, pulls up for the long two. Made sure that the referees called that one. Baker with an exaggeration on the play. The foul was called, and that will send Baker to the line for two shots.
His second, team foul number 1. Xavier Raven and Owen Clausen.
Heslip called for the foul, and Joseph will go to the line for two shots. Bennett and Heslip out of the game, and Ratan Mays and Klassen into it. And Baker at the line for two. Gets the first to go. And the second. 73-49 in favour of Canada. 7:40 to play here. Ratan Mays now looking to feed Klassen in the low post. Comes back out to Scrub. To Klassen. Oh, tries to throw down the two-handed jam. That would have been a monster. But he's fouled, and he'll go to the line for two. That's his second foul on Nortman. Stopping Klassen with a huge jam. Instead, Klassen will go to the line. Connects with the first of the two. And the second. Takes his tally to 4 points for the evening. Baker now. Uses the screen set by Burrows. Drives inside into the paint. Tough move by Baker. Draws the foul. Scrub gets called for the foul. Thomas Scrub. That'll send Baker to the line for another two.
Baker at the line, shooting 2.
Baker looking to reduce the deficit some more. Gets the first to drop. This is 9th point of the game. In 13 minutes of play. And the second takes himself to double digits, and he's leading the Bahamas scoring now with 10 points. 24-point lead for Canada with just over 7 minutes to play. Ratan Mays now draws his man and draws the foul as well. Bahamas leading this final quarter 13-9. Coach Rana will not be happy with that. He will want to make sure that his team finish out on a high as they make a change as Hanlon goes to the bench and Pierre comes into the game. Thomas Scrub will go to the sidelines to inbound it for Canada. Nesbitt comes out of the game for the Bahamas, and Munnings Jr. comes back in. Scrub now. Ball gets in the hands of Ratan Mays. Scrub from the corner, can't get it to go. St. Paul grabs the rebound. Nortman grabs the rebound. Burrows now drives inside. Tough move off the glass, draws the foul. Looks like Pierre picks up the foul.
Team Canada foul.
And Burrows will go to the line for two shots. This is, I imagine, what Coach Bole wanted his team to do from the opening tip. Unfortunately, it's taken him to the final quarter to bring this into action, but it is having an effect. Going hard and strong to the basket against the Canadians is forcing them to foul. They've done it from the opening tip. We've seen some of the Canadians' bigger stars in foul trouble as Burrows connects with the first free throw. And the second takes his personal tally up to 9 points to go along with his 4 rebounds in just 24 minutes of action. Ratan Mays now brings it up over the half, being guarded by Baker closely. Ball comes back to Scrub. Scrub drives inside to the elbow, dumps it inside to Klassen. Beautiful spin move. Too light on the little finger roll though, and it comes off the iron and out. Baker can't quite hold on to the ball. And Coach Bole is not happy. We're seeing another turnover from his team. And Scrub now with the ball in his hands for Canada. Being guarded closely by Joseph. Ratan Mays now goes to the corner to Scrub. Oh, drains the three. Thomas Scrub. He's had a strong evening. He's up to 9 points, 4 boards, 3 assists, filling up the stat sheet across the columns. Burrows now at the top against Klassen. Little hesitation dribble, hands it off to Joseph. Joseph for 3. Clangs it off the back of the iron. And Canada come away with the rebound. Still a 25-point lead for Canada with 5:47 to play. Scrub is wide open again. Oh, back-to-back triples for Thomas Scrub. And he's quickly up to double digits. He's up to 12 points personal now. And the timeout is called by the Bahamas. No doubt to talk about the perimeter shooting once again from Canada.
When we drop back in the one, and you not getting in the friggin' middle.
I ain't shooting the corner, coach. All I'm saying.
You following 11, you following
run. You know where I go to Mano?
No.
I
said when you come back in the game, you pressure the ball, you drop straight back inside the 1-2-1. And you still follow them around, that's why the middle wide open and all that shit happening.
We got to
Go back into the zone, man.
We got to talk. In the zone, be fucked. That's what I'm saying. I say something. We all got to talk. We all got to talk. You don't like to me, I can't hear. That's the only way it'll work. We talk.
Apologies, we're having difficulty listening to the Canadian huddle, but listening to the huddle of the Bahamas, it's clear miscommunication has been an issue on the defensive end. Some assignments missed has led to those 2 big threes from Thomas Scrub. They'll want to correct that straight away, making sure that they're all on the same page. And some of the Bahamas fans are in the crowd, waving their flags proudly, and so they should. Their team have made a fist of it in this final quarter. They have fought as hard as they possibly can. And in fact, they're tying the final quarter, 15 to Canada, 15 to the Bahamas, but the damage was done in the first half. Bahamas no doubt will take some lessons from the game this evening into their game against the Virgin Islands in Nassau on Monday. Baker now with the ball. Looks to drive inside. Great hesitation. Fires it inside to Joseph, who goes for the reverse layup off the glass and finds the 2. Ratan Mays now brings it up over the half to Scrub. Pierre kicks it back out to Ratan Mays. Pierre fakes a 3. Oh, quick spin move by Pierre. Goes inside to Tassolini. He can't hold on to it, but managed to get the loose ball back to Scrub. Thomas Scrub from way out. Comes up short. Ball comes back out to him though. He'll slow it down, but Burrows sneaks into the passing lane and steals it away. Burrows against Ratan Mays. Euro step to the basket, gets the 2. Beautiful technical footwork there by the captain of the Bahamas. Another steal, but can only knock it out of bounds. Munnings quick to get in the passing lane. And the deficit's just 24 points now, as Baker goes to the bench. Ratan Mays now to Scrub. Scrub fakes the 3, drives inside, draws the defenders, goes inside to Tressolini, who grabs the 2 off the glass. Gets himself another bucket. Rose to Joseph. Pick and roll. Burrows pulls up for the long 2. Just slightly too heavy with that one, and Ratan Mays comes away with the defensive board. He loses the handle though. Burrows picks it up. Oh, behind the back from Burrows to Rose. Oh, what a shame. Rose can complete the and 1 play. A cheeky play from Burrows in the transition, throwing a full force behind the back as he's going at full pace. Beautiful play by the Bahamas captain. Very confident to play that one. And Rose will go to the line for 2 shots. Connects with the first. And the second. Keane back into the game for Canada, running the point. Gives it up to Thomas Scrub. Scrub now uses a screen, kicks it to Keane. Keane's open on the wing but drives inside, looks to come back out again. Comes back out to Thomas Scrub, sorry. Ball goes low to Trasalini. Oh, goes up for the jam. Claire's not having any of that on his watch. Bats it away but fouls him in the process. Trasalini will go to the line for 2 shots. Trasalini now at the line, looking to extend the Canadian League back out again. Too heavy with that one, and the Bahamas will come away with it in the hands of Burrows. Pierre is called for the foul, Canada. And that will send Burrows to the line for 2 shots. Pierre not too happy with the raised arm of Burrows. That's the way it is. And that's the foul call. And Burrows will go to the line for 2 shots. Burrows, a proud man, captaining his nation for their first ever FIBA World Cup qualification campaign. And he'll be even prouder on Monday when he gets to lead his team out in Nassau against the Virgin Islands, where they'll be hoping to come away with the win. And now goes inside to Pierre, ball comes back out to Keane. Keane drives inside. Oh, that's a tough move by Kaza Keane. He gets the 2 on the float, gets fouled on the way, so he'll go to the bonus stripe for the extra 1. He'll look to convert the and 1 play. Nice control, takes the contact, makes sure he focuses on finishing the play, gets the job done. We'll go to the line for the bonus. 3:27 to play here in the 4th quarter. Rebound by Trasalini. Keane for 3. Trasalini battling so hard for the rebound. Fouls Claire in that instance. But Coach Rana won't be too upset. Great to see Trasalini fighting so hard for rebounds, even though his team has a 25-point lead. That, however, will send Claire to the 3-throw line, as we've seen Trasalini battling for it, but the contact on Claire is the foul. Claire will go to the line for 2 shots. Some Fort comes into the game as Munning goes to the bench for the Bahamas. And can't get the second to connect. And Keane comes away with it for Canada. Into the hands of Pierre. Pierre, little hesitation, drives inside. Strong move off the glass, gets the 2 to go. What a move by Deshaun Pierre. Draws a strong body contact, stays with it, gets the 2. And he'll have the opportunity to convert the and 1 play as well. Important moments of the game for Canada. Coach Vanna giving some of the guys minutes that wouldn't necessarily get extended minutes, and it's a real opportunity for players like Deshaun Pierre to stake claims to higher minutes. And Trasolini. Keane now with the ball in his hands for Canada. Pierre back to Keane. Bahamas still sitting in their zone. Skipped now to the corner to Hanlon. Off the back of the iron and out, and Bahamas will grab the rebound. And Rose will come away with it. Skip to Burrows. Burrows under the basket. Gets a 2 on the reverse lay. Good vision by Rose with the pass. A 23-point ball game now, and Burrows takes his personal tally up to 15 points. Trasolini comes back to Keane. Keane turns a corner, skips it back to the pick and roll of Trasolini. Oh, that's a tough defensive play by Nortman. Sorry, by St. Fort. As Trasolini goes to the basket strong, St. Fort sacrifices his body and by the looks of it, his nose in taking the charge off Trasolini. Manages to step outside the charge zone. And Trasolini didn't even know he was there. Runs straight through him. Just split second, steps outside the charge zone. Good defensive stand there by St. Fort. Carey now. And the ball for the Bahamas. Goes inside to Clare. Clare will look to back his way down against Glaze. Oh, that's a tough move. Can't quite get the roll. Carey did all the hard work, though. Hanlon now with the ball. Gives it Trasolini on the trail. Almost loses the handle, comes back out. And Canada will reset. Keane now trying to find a gap. Penetrating and kicking. Trasolini mid-range 2. Nothing but the net for that one. And back out to a 27-point lead now for Canada, with 1:42 to play here at the Scotiabank Centre in Halifax. Carey sizing his opponent up, gives it inside to Clare. Clare goes to work and gets the hook shot to drop. Bahamas have had a far superior second half. So much so they're leading this final quarter 27-24. Pierre now feeds Trasolini. Hands it back to Keane. Keane drives inside. It opens up for him. Oh, he should have made the basket, and he knows that as well. He's fouled, though, so he'll go to the line for 2 shots. St. Fort pleads his innocence. Keane will go to the line for 2. Keane also part of the G League, playing for Raptors 905. Obviously the affiliate of the Toronto Raptors, a 23-year-old picking up his first competitive international basketball cap this evening. No doubt a proud moment for him and his family and friends. And what a great way to pick up that first cap. And we have a timeout called here with just under a minute to play. With just over a minute to play.
Shot, you in the front. You know you in the back there. You got LJ and Mark. LJ and Mark. You can't bite you in basketball.
No, but you put me in the back. Remember, you put me in the back. So you run the high pick and roll with Keno now.
Yeah, you go in there, Keno stay up here.
Okay, then what?
Then LJ, you turn around and come get back.
So with just over a minute to play, Canada can class this as a job well done. Held a 26-point lead over the Bahamas, and they've had the ability to run throughout their roster as well. Made sure they've spread the minutes out. Everyone's had a run out on the court. No one's had less than 5 minutes of court time, and that will pay dividends as they progress through the qualification, because international experience is important for some of the younger, less experienced players to pick up. So when it comes to the big moments, when they're called upon, when there's foul trouble or injuries, they're ready to step into the breach and pick up some of the weight, some of the heavy lifting that some of the superstars usually take. Bahamas now, St. Fort inbounds it to Carey. Carey to Burrows. Burrows skips it to Rose. Rose fakes, drives inside, off the glass for 2. Bahamas get another 2 points. Keane now to Hanlon. Hanlon slows it down for Canada. We're into the final minute of action here. Keane will step it back out. Shot clock down to 7. Keane still trying to find an opening, can't find one, has to give up Hanlon. Hanlon will have to put a shot up. That's a tough shot. Front of the iron and away. Oh, what a hustle play there, though, as Glaze manages to corral the ball as it's about to go out of bounds. Hanlon goes to Pierre, back to Glaze. Glaze drives inside. Keane, little fake. Gets his man in the air, pulls up for a mid-range 2. Can't get it to go. Doesn't touch the ring, so it's a shot clock violation. And we'll have 22.9 seconds left in the game. If the Bahamas want, they can take the final shot of the game here at the Scotiabank Centre in Halifax, Canada. And as I said, this can be considered a job well done for Canada. A potential banana skin avoided as Rose drives to the basket for 2. He's up to 8 points personal now. Keane brings it up over the half, gives it up to Trasolini as the clock runs down. Goes to Pierre in the corner, floats inside, right hand, finishes it with a layup. An appropriate way for Canada to finish the game off here at the Scotiabank Centre in Halifax. And that is all we have here. Canada 93, the Bahamas 69. A dominant opening 20 minutes for the Canadians. Too much for the Bahamas to come back from, but plenty of positives for Coach Bole to take for the Bahamas in what was a rousing final quarter where they managed to put 31 points on the board. But the final score is 93 to Canada, 69 to the Bahamas. Canada will be content with what they have done tonight. They've avoided the banana skin that was the Bahamas, come away with a 24-point lead, managed to get minutes under the belts of every single player in the roster, and given a show for the home fans, which is what it's all about, making sure the home team crowd get what they came for, and that was a Canadian win and a big Canadian performance, and they were not disappointed tonight. And leading that performance was Brady Heslip, 22 points. Philip Scrubb grabbed 7 rebounds and dished out 6 assists. So big nights across the box score for the Canadians. For Bahamas, Burrows led them with 15 points, but Rose Jr. had a big night with 7 rebounds and 8 assists. So huge across the board. Having a look at some of the stats though, I think the one that tells you the biggest is 2 from 16 from the perimeter for the Bahamas, 13%, whereas Canada scored 33 points from behind the arc and a ratio of 38%. An awful lot of those came from the hands of Brady Heslip, who had a hot night tonight. Some of the other stats for you here. As I said, Heslip led the scoring for Canada. Scrubb with a big night, 7 rebounds, 6 assists. Burrows led the scoring for Bahamas with 15. And Rose had a big night with 7 rebounds, 8 assists. But the turnovers hurt the Bahamas overall as a team. They weren't protecting the ball well enough in the opening 20 minutes, and that hurt them. They'll no doubt look to go back to the drawing board on that one and make some corrections before they take on the Virgin Islands in Nassau on Monday as the second game of window 1, whereas Canada have a huge trip down to the Dominican Republic on Monday to take the Dominican Republic on and what most will see as a top 2 clash. I've given you some of the other stats. Outside of that, if we look at some of the team comparison stats, as I said, turnovers were a big issue. 16 turnovers for the Bahamas to only 11 for Canada. And the points in the paint was where the Bahamas did their damage because the Canadians scored an awful lot from the perimeter. The Canadians also had much better production from their bench, 38 bench points.